Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I did a very brief video last night about Nicola Sturgeon being released, and this is the kind of the follow-up that I prefaced in that video. She's been released, obviously, and she's given an account of what's happened in it, and she claims that she was shocked to be arrested and that she's innocent. Well, I can believe, of course, that she's shocked she was arrested. She had managed to align all the Scottish police forces into one and appoint one man as head of it to give him absolute power, and then she could control him and thus control the police. So I suspect that the very fact that they turned up to arrest her must have been a shock. She thought she's got rid of that problem, and even before that, the sort of the investigation itself proceeding, because obviously by having Dorothy Bain as a cabinet member meant that she controls the law, the judiciary and the police. So of course, yes, we can see it was very, very shocking for her to be arrested. But then she claims that she's innocent, and I suspect it is the Shaggy defence. And yes, that actually is a real thing. You can go and Google it. As in, I didn't do it, it wasn't me. And that'll be what she was saying all the way through that interview. And of course, I can't remember. I have no recollection of such events. No comment. She's made this very, very public promise many times that she's going to cooperate fully with the police. If at any point it comes out that she said no comment or I can't remember, then you know that that also was a lie, because she cannot help herself. You know, psychopaths like her lie before they even breathe. They lie when they don't need to, because the truth to them is not a habit they want to get into, because they know that if they're in the habit of telling the truth, then sometimes it may leak out and something they may say may come back to get them. So they lie about everything. It's the only way that they can maintain their truth. So I'll have a look at this article, see what's going on, see what she's saying, and see where it goes from here. Hopefully back into a police station and then into a prison. But I mean, let's face it, don't hold your breath. Here goes. So, I'm innocent. Sturgeon released after arrest over SNP finances probe. I think there's probably enough around to charge her, to charge all of them. I think the police, if they're being serious, I think they're trying to get their ducks in a row. If they're not being serious, then it's just a show arrest, isn't it? It's just for the cameras. So it looks as though the police are doing something. But we all know that she's more or less got the police in her pocket. Certainly she got Dorothy Bain in her pocket, which is why there was a 2-week wait between the application for a warrant and the issuing of a warrant, just to make sure that her little boy, Humza Yousaf, got in of the election for leader. Because if that had happened during the run-up to the election, the day of the vote, it's likely that a lot of people would have changed their minds and Humza Yousaf would not have been leader, and she couldn't have that. Anyway, Nicola Sturgeon has insisted that she is innocent of any wrongdoing after she was released from custody following her arrest by police investigating the SNP's finances scandal. Well, she will say that, won't she? Because she is innocent of anything. She never does anything wrong. She has this mental problem that she cannot do anything that's wrong. A spokesperson for the former First Minister said Miss Sturgeon attended an interview where she was to be arrested and questioned by police. She was later released without charge. Miss Sturgeon said she was certain I have committed no offence, adding that the episode was deeply distressing. I actually believe that in her mind she is certain that she's committed no offence, because she's quite incapable. She's psychologically incapable of admitting that she has broken the law, or that she truly believes that everything she does is perfectly allowable, even when it is against the law. She can't accept it, you know. Police Scotland said the former First Minister was arrested at 10:09 a.m. on Sunday and was released from custody at 5:24. So that's what, 5.5, 6.5. He said, nearly said, well, over 7 hours. Over 7 hours in custody. That would have been the worst 7-hour grilling she's ever had, isn't it? Honestly, worse than any PM or FM queues, isn't it? A police Scotland statement said a 52-year-old woman who was arrested earlier today, Sunday 11th of June 2023, as a suspect in connection with the ongoing investigation into the funding and finances of the Scottish National Party has been released without charge, but pending further investigation. The woman was questioned by Police Scotland detectives after she was arrested at 10:09am, and she was released from custody at 5:24pm. They said a report will be sent to the Crown Office and the Procurator Fiscal Office, and the matter remains active for the purpose of the Contempt of Court Act 1981, and the public are therefore advised to exercise caution if discussing it on social media. Yes, but it isn't a contempt of court issue. It's not at court yet, and we're perfectly and legally entitled to speculate. That is being established in law before now anyway, and that is one of the acts of free speech, is the ability to speculate, as long as we don't accuse her of committing any crimes. I'm quite wrong of accusing her of doing anything, but I'm quite correct and allowable in speculating that she may well be involved in other things. Perfectly legal. I've had to look that up, but I have, and I'm fine. As the investigation is ongoing, he said, we are unable to comment further. That is a lie. They are perfectly able to comment further. They're choosing not to. In a statement following her release, the former First Minister said, to find myself in the situation I did today, when I am certain I have committed no offence, is both a shock and deeply distressing. Can you imagine how much distress other people have been caused by you? And when you say you're certain that you've committed no offence, it's odd, because no one else is certain, I think, that you have committed no offence. You must know. I know that this ongoing investigation is difficult for people. No, it's difficult for you because you know the truth. She said, and I'm grateful that so many continue to show faith in me and appreciate that I would never do anything to either harm the SNP or the country. Or that, I'm afraid, is quite plainly and self-evidently a lie. You even took Scotland out of the league tables for education because you were so embarrassed at the harm you'd done that. So, I mean, more lies by the Pinocchio of govern. It really is all terrible, isn't it? Anyway, obviously, given the nature of this process, I cannot go into detail. Yes, you can. There's nothing stopping you going into detail. However, I do wish to say this, and to do so in the strongest possible terms. Innocence is not just a presumption I am entitled to in law. I know beyond doubt that I am in fact innocent of any wrongdoing. It doesn't matter what you believed of. It's what the jury believes. And I think it needs to go to a jury. And I think you'll still be saying that you're innocent when you're doing 3 years in Barlinnie with your little hands like that against the jail cell wall, you know, against the bars. The former First Minister's arrest comes after her husband Peter Murrell was arrested in April, blah, 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 blah. All the usual things. We've done it all before. Just getting back down because this is all the regurgitation. We don't need to hear it. Anyway, she added, the SNP have been cooperating fully with this investigation. Again, a lie. And will continue to do so. However, it is not appropriate to publicly address any issues while that investigation is ongoing. They're using that lie as well because obviously they can. It's already been cleared that they can. They're just saying that so they don't have to address it because they're embarrassed. They are utterly, utterly embarrassed about this because they weren't expected to get caught, you know, with the fingers in the cookie jar kind of thing. Rival parties also commented on the arrest. Labour's Shadow Scottish Secretary Ian Murray said, this is a deeply concerning development and the Police Scotland investigation must be allowed to proceed without interference. For too long, a culture of secrecy and cover-up has been allowed to fester at the heart of the SNP. It is the very raison d'etre of that party. Truth and openness and transparency are anathema to them. They cannot have the truth coming out because the truth would utterly destroy them. Scottish Tory Chairman Craig Hoy has renewed the party's call for the former First Minister to be suspended. I covered that yesterday. He said Nicola Sturgeon and other senior SNP figures, including Humza Yousaf, must cooperate fully with this police investigation and commit to full transparency surrounding it. But they won't. They will not. They cannot. And they will just be going, oh, I have no recollection or no comment, because they dare not fully cooperate. The SNP continue to be engulfed in murkiness and chaos, and probably sleaze, and mired in it. Humza Yousaf must now show some leadership and suspend his predecessor from the SNP. He cannot show leadership. The man has no spine. If he had a spine, he'd have fired off the Greens, but he hasn't done that. He continued, the SNP set that precedent when politicians such as Michelle Thompson and Natalie McGarry were under investigation, and they were suspended from the party. He said, and he must do that again here. He said, this is an extremely serious matter and is continuing to escalate, and the result is that the SNP are totally distracted at the worst possible time. They're too busy self-focused and looking at their navel, because of this woman, her husband, their friend, and their other friend. The whole cabal at the top of the party. They're too busy looking at that. They're not looking at at what's going on around them in Scotland, and it's all falling apart. And there's stories today about other things not related to this, but just where everything is falling apart because stupid ideas by stupid people are allowed to happen because they refuse to accept that they don't know what they're talking about and that they are the experts. Well, she's an expert now when it comes to sitting in a police station for 7 hours answering difficult questions, or at least being asked them. I doubt she answered too many of them. Ah well, we'll see what happens when it all comes out in the wash, because eventually, of course, everything does. So, there we go, I'll leave that, I'll come up and we'll round off. I mean, she's going on, she truly believes in her head that she's done nothing wrong. And I think that is something she's going to live with. I think if this does ever go to trial, I can't see how she can possibly be seen to be innocent. Her name is all over those accounts. Her husband's name is all over those accounts. They knew. And it isn't just that they knew. I've mentioned this before. The Jordan Linden thing. They knew. Certainly Peter Murrell knew. This went all the way up. And if Peter Murrell knew, she knew. Because she knows everything. She sat there like a big fat spider in the middle of a web. Every little twitch came through her. She knew exactly what was going on everywhere. So she knew about Jordan Linden. And if it comes out that she knew and she covered up, and not what she covered up was possibly things involving, very young people, then again, that is guilty after the fact. And if she's covered it up, that is miscarriage of justice. Not miscarriage of justice. That's perversion of justice. And I think that also is a serious crime that needs to be investigated. I think her, Murrell, all the top cabal might be in very, very difficult positions legally, as all these different strands of legal investigations are going on, and they're all focusing in on the centre. And like I say, at the centre of this particularly dirty web is Nicola Sturgeon. We can hope and we can pray that it actually comes to it. I would love to see charges raised on many different things. And I shall finish. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It would be grand if you did. We're getting very close to 5,000. Do hit the like button. That helps with the algorithm. Leave a comment, leave a share, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, keep watching this ongoing and breaking story, and we will keep you up to date, and goodbye.